Manager Eddie Howe has confirmed that striker Johan Wissa was suffering from an illness, which is why he only came on for a couple of minutes last night. Joelinton is suffering from a groin problem, and Anthony Gordon has slammed Newcastle United for the way they keep conceding late goals and giving up leads. And I also want to talk about the Newcastle United midfield ahead of the game on Sunday. Would you make any changes, and are the midfield playing well enough to deal with our friends down the road? Let's dive in. Hi everybody, my name's Paul. This is the Toon Review and this is your latest Newcastle United news. We'll start off with Wissa, and manager Eddie Howe confirmed that he was suffering from an illness in the build-up to the game last night, hence why he only got a couple of minutes on the pitch. That explains everything. I know there was a lot of fans, including us on Matchday Live, who were a little unhappy we didn't see Wissa and we were questioning that substitution at the end. I mean, I still am, in a way, wondering why he came on for the last minute and a half of injury time. Didn't make much sense. Whether it was Eddie Howe's ploy just to see the game out, I don't know. But he was also asked in the interview last night if he thinks Wissa could start the game on Sunday against Sunderland. And this is what he said. Yes, he can start. Whether he's physically able to and how long he's able to play for, they're all the questions that need answered. He's had a bit of an illness in the last 24 hours, hence why he only got a few minutes today. It is unfortunate for him because he was going in the right direction, so a little knockback there. But yes, we'll train him tomorrow, obviously today. We're all back in and he'll get some work and we'll see how he is. Now, I don't know about you guys out there, but I want Wissa to start on Sunday. Whether he only plays for 55, 60 minutes, just start him. We need that out-and-out striker. And I think that was evident again last night, especially in the first half, that we need that striker in there, the out-and-out striker. That's nothing against Nick Voltemata, who has been absolutely superb for us since signing. We just need that little bit of different direction. Just mix it up a little bit, because I think at the moment we are a bit predictable, but Wissa on the pitch will make us very unpredictable. And he can make them runs. He can be in the box. He knows where to be. He's highly experienced. So I really want him to start on Sunday, and hopefully he will, because we need to sort of mix it up a little bit and confuse Sunderland and just do something different. But we'll see what he does. But hopefully Wissa will get over the illness and he'll be able to start the game and maybe get an hour out of him, because I think a lot of Newcastle United fans, if not all of them, want to see him start the game. It's a massive game on Sunday, and Wissa is, he's Premier League experienced. He's played in a lot of big London derbies, etc. He knows what it's all about, and we need to get him in. So hopefully we'll see him start the game on Sunday. Now, one player that I've changed my mind completely on starting the game on Sunday is Joelinton. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be fit enough to start, because obviously he came off last night with a groin problem. But I'm going to be pretty blunt and frank. He was shite last night. He was absolutely shite again. And Joelinton's form has been so poor this season. He just hasn't got going. He's looked lively in maybe one or two games, but not enough. There's not enough coming from Joelinton right now to give anybody any confidence. Now, a lot of people, including myself, were saying, it'd be good to have Joelinton in the midfield for Sunday, to have that combative edge, the physicality that he brings. But let's be honest, folks, we haven't seen that for so long. We really haven't seen that. And the midfield, which I'll come on to a bit later in the video, it's not functioning. It's certainly not functioning when Joelinton's there. Tonali's not playing very well at the minute. So, what do you do? To be honest, I've completely flipped my opinion. I would rather have Lewis Miley in there. I mean, Miley came on last night and looked so composed, scored a goal. He just brings a different dynamic. And we've said for a long time now that Joelinton needs to look over his shoulder, because there is people who are going to challenge him to that starting position. Eddie said, if it looks like a groin injury, but I don't know how serious it is at this time. Now, that's all he said on it. He wouldn't go any further on it. Obviously, Joelinton will have tests when he comes back and a scan if necessary. But listen, he was horseshit last night, and he's been horseshit a majority of the season. And I love bloody Joelinton. But we ain't seen the Joelinton this season that we've seen in previous, that real physical edge, that drive. He's just been missing from games. And last night, the first half, he gave the ball away so many times with lackadaisical passes that he couldn't even kick the ball 3 yards to a player in a Newcastle shirt. And then he disappeared for the second half before he went down and had the groin problem. But I don't think Newcastle fans really want Joe Linton in that midfield now, because we've seen enough of Miley this season to say he is bang in form, he is a talent, and he's a Geordie, and he'll want to play in that game on Sunday. And he settles the midfield down. He plays very well with Bruno. So Joe Linton, for me, take a few weeks off, mate. Get a rest and maybe come back in a couple of weeks fit and healthy and ready to go, because he just looks a shadow of the player that has been around for a few seasons now in the midfield. Now, Anthony Gordon, listen, he's come out and tried to come up with a few excuses as to why Newcastle United concede all these late goals and they can't hang on. Now, he said the possibility of fatigue. Now, I don't want to use that word fatigue, because I think we've got a big enough squad to deal with fatigue, and I don't necessarily agree with him at all. But this is what he said. I don't know if it's fatigue with all the games coming up, that we're getting a bit tired late on in games. I'm not too sure. But listen, I think it all comes back to mentality. I think we've got to be strong. We've got to hold off in them games, because the top teams do. Now, on conceding from set pieces, he says, yeah, it's not good enough. I think it's something we're definitely working on. We spend a lot of time on it. Not an attacker's dream, but it has to be done, because we're not doing it well enough. Again, come back to mentality. We need to be stronger. Now, I couldn't agree with Anthony Gordon more on the mentality thing. Not so much fatigue. I'm really not going down that road of fatigue. No way. No way. But what I will do is go down the road of mentality. And it's annoying. It's annoying. And I was watching the Geordie Journos this morning after their video, and what they said was, you know what, we did go for it a little bit. When we went 2-1 up, we did go for that third goal. We hit the post, but then it got to 80 minutes, and it was like, bang, lights out. We're not doing anything else. We're going to sit back and soak it up. And that's been the mentality of Newcastle United for a while now, where we get to a certain point in the game and we shut down. We completely shut down and just defend. And we all know, we all see it, that we can't do it. We can't sit back and soak up the pressure, because we are so susceptible to conceding goals. We are far better when we are on the attack. And we've said this many, many times. Go for it. Go for it. You know, don't sit back. We're not a team that sits back and defends. We're just not. We're far better and we're far more dangerous when we're attacking teams. And we're better defensively when we're on the attack as well. You know, we're not good when we sit back. We just switch off. And set pieces kill us. It's crazy. But listen, do you agree with Anthony Gordon on the fatigue side, or are you putting it in the bin like I am and just saying, look, it's a mentality problem, or is it from the manager who claims that he still does not know why this keeps happening? Is that a concern for you? Let me know in the comments. Now, finally, what I want to talk about in this video is the midfield ahead of the game against Sunderland on Sunday, of course. I'm a little bit worried, I have to say, about the midfield, about the way we're playing. Because Joe Linton, as I've mentioned earlier on in the video, he's gone completely. I don't know what's happened to him. Tonali's fallen off a cliff at the minute with his form. Now, I know, I will say it, form is temporary, class is permanent. And we know that Tonali is a wonderful footballer. So I'm not questioning his ability by any stretch of the imagination. But he's not playing very well. And he was at fault for both goals last night. If you look at the second goal as well, he completely switches off. He leaves his man to just run in and score. And the first goal, he was so weak at the back post trying to fight for that ball, which is not really what Tonali's all about. He's a strong guy. But he has not looked right since he was ill. He's come back, but he's not right. And it's clear as day. So what does Eddie Howe do on Sunday? And is it a concern to you guys out there, the form of the midfield? Because Leverkusen last night, what they were doing was very, very clever. They were passing it around in the Newcastle half, forcing us up to try and shut them down. And then once again, there was a gap between the midfield and the back four where they were playing the ball through and getting opportunities. Now, you would think that the Sunderland manager will look at that and think, well, hang on a minute, you know, we can do it that way. We can certainly play through the middle, but they will also pump balls into the box, which is a concern the way we've been playing defensively at the moment. But the midfield, we have to be on it on Sunday. Well, everybody does, but especially the midfield. We know the midfield battles against Sunderland are always intense. You know, you go back to the Catamol, Teote days, it was always intense. And it will be again on Sunday. Because one thing Sunderland will be is physical. They'll try and get on us that way as well. They can play football, but they can also be physical. And it's going to be a tough game. And I worry that the midfield, it's just not right at the minute. It's just not right. He has to, even if Joe Linton's fit, he has to leave him out. Miley's got to start the game. He is one of the midfielders that is banging form. And he plays brilliantly with Bruno. Tonali I'm worried about as well because he has just dropped off a cliff with his form at the minute. But is the kind of derby atmosphere, that kind of game that is going to get Tonali back on it? You know, will he pick up on the atmosphere in the crowd? Will he get going again? There is a strong possibility. We know that derby games are just one-offs. The form goes out the window. Hopefully that's the case with Tonali, and suddenly he looks like the world-class player that we've all seen in his early Newcastle United career. Because one thing's for certain, we know that Tonali is the kind of player that you want in these games. But we haven't seen in the last few since he had the illness. He just hasn't looked right. And we're not obviously being told what the illness was. You know, is he suffering a bit of a long-term issue with it, a bit of fatigue from it? I don't know. But it just doesn't look right to me. And this is an important part of the pitch for Sunday's game. Those three in midfield, and let's face it, it's going to be three because we'll play the 4-3-3. It's massive for us. It's massive that we stay switched on through the whole game. A 90-minute game is needed from our midfielders as well as anybody else. But that midfield, for me, is where the game is going to be won and lost on Sunday because of the physical edge to it. But what would you do? What would you do with the midfield? What would you do if you're Eddie Howe? Who would you play? Obviously, you know, the game's coming up. It's going to come quickly for us. We've got to be on it. We've got to be on it. Are you worried about the game because of the way we're conceding silly goals? Or are you confident that red-hot atmosphere on Sunday will get the lads really fired up and want to prove a point to a lot of people that we are far better than our neighbours down the road? Let me know in the comments below. We're back tonight. If you're watching this on Thursday, 7 o'clock, me and Billy have the review of last night's game. So we'll take a bit of a deeper dive into it. We'll look at individual performances and also give you the player ratings as well. Tomorrow night, we're back at 7 again. That will be the preview of the Sunderland game. I'll be back in the morning, of course, with the press conference reaction. Dying to see what Eddie Howe's got to say ahead of the Tyne-Wear derby, of course, and I'm sure you guys do as well. But that's it for now. Please do leave a comment, give it a like, and of course, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and check out thetoonreview.com for all your merchandise. If you want something for Christmas, get an order in now. The suppliers are sending them out very quickly, I have to admit, very quickly. But obviously Christmas is just around the corner, so the post may be delayed. So get your orders in if you want something from the merch store. That's thetoonreview.com. But in the meantime, guys, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you for the review. In the meantime, take care.